What's going on? This is Frank, House of Orange TV. We are 8 days away. And for 8 days away, let's take it back to 2 years ago and a good number 8 that we had.
DC in a full-time role for the first time this season. The 1-0 in the air, left center field. Ross on the move, won't get there. Tennessee walks it off.
Oh, yeah, we're Dylan Drawling days away as Tennessee starts next Friday, Nickel State, 4:30. Hopefully the weather cooperates at that point. But I want to talk today is more rankings have come out, and the SEC released their preseason rankings as well. And I'm going to tell you, and I've said it here the whole time, why this team is being overlooked, and I think this team has got to love it coming into this season as well. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. Check out the links for the channel Patreon. You can go to help the channel for as little as $1 a month. There is the channel memberships as well. Would appreciate you check that out. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed, who have checked those out, who have supported. Let's get into this thing, though. I wanted to talk. We've had different All-American rankings. We've had pretty much all of our preseason rankings. I was curious to see, though, and the SEC released their preseason rankings today. They picked LSU to win conference, Texas 2, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Auburn, and coming in 6th, Tennessee. And the very first polls that were released this year came from Perfect Game. They put Tennessee at 3rd. The rest of them have had them all in the 13 to 15 range. And, I was looking at it as well. The TPL Tennessee had posted something online here. I think it was last week, and Jay Abernathy, it showed Jay Abernathy and Ariel Antigua talking. And Abernathy said, it's going to push us more because of all the doubt coming our way. And I can tell you right now, if Tony Vitello and Frank Anderson were back, this team would be consistent, probably consensus top 10 coming into this season. But Josh Elander, Josh Reynolds, this staff, they've got, if you want to call it bulletin board material, there's nothing bad been said. If I'm these Tennessee pitchers, you betcha that I'm going to D1 baseball and their video that says, all I see is Saturday and Sunday guys here. I'm telling you right now, Tennessee's got at least 3 Friday night guys, if not 4, that can go on this. So Tennessee's 6th in those rankings. Again, that's, the best of the best, though. This is the SEC. You could theoretically finish 6th in the conference and be 6th in the country as well. You're always probably going to have an ACC team or maybe one of these Big Ten teams because a lot of people's all about UCLA this year, and rightfully so. But we'll find out in a few weeks on that. But Tennessee, they've announced there's been numerous All-Americans announced at this point. And looking at it as well, the SEC, they announced their preseason All-SEC teams today as well. So they named Henry Ford and Brandon Arvidsson first team, Levi Clark second team. Baseball America earlier this week named their preseason All-American team. They had Tegan Coombs and Blaine Brown second team. And then Perfect Game earlier on had their All-American team. They had Henry Ford first team. They had Brady Frederick, transfer from ETSU, third team coming in. So different guys are being on that. And let's see, D1 baseball also had Henry Ford, third team All-American. And I'm looking here as well. Perfect Game and D1 had Ford and Brady Frederick on theirs. So looking at it as well, we're looking at these things. I just seen a note that come out here about a couple players in general. So this is an interesting time because Blake Grimmer's been out, says he's had lower back soreness. So they're kind of limiting him right now. And it said Garrett Wright is about 2 weeks out right now. So he won't be available next weekend based on what they've said here. But I'm telling you now, though, this team and, we will learn something in Arlington. I don't think we learn anything the first 2 weeks. Definitely not this weekend. Nickel State was not very good last year, and I don't think there'll be a big change in it this year either. But, in some notes that was out earlier this week, Austin Price of VolQuest.com, which don't get me wrong. This dude is normally on it. He is normally all over things here. I'm not saying he's wrong, but I am saying I don't think it comes down to this. It says tomorrow's scrimmage, intra-squad will be Tegan Coons on one team, Landon Mack on the other. And the way Austin Price put it, that'll be for the Friday night spot. I don't think it's going – unless they're just that neck and neck, which maybe it's possible. And that's a good thing because it's been said both have looked really, really good so far in basically, if you want to call it preseason or whatever so far. But I have a hard time believing it's just coming down to a 3-inning stint here. Now, I mean, if one blows up or something, yeah, I mean, maybe so. But if both of these guys are on it, I mean, they've got a whole body of work from the fall, or they've got the fall and now, the winter workouts as well. Again, having followed this so long, knowing how tight-lipped things were under Tony Vitello, I have a hard time believing that Josh Elander is just all of a sudden putting all this info out there. And I'm sure, again, I'm not doubting. I am questioning that that's on the line, which I'm not saying it's not, but it just seems like it coming down to 1 3-inning stint is kind of wild. But again, everything I've seen says those two guys look good. And I think D1 baseball and their only Saturday, Sunday guys are going to eat their words on that. A lot of these polls are going to look interesting as you get later on. I've said it, I'm going to try to get content out every day leading up to it. I'm going to try to amp back up my content. I've been a little burned out. I just have a lot going on. But with baseball here, I'm kind of getting that itch. I'm kind of starting to feel it here again. So, but this team, though, you got to go into this season. I know what these pundits are looking at. You don't really have that real proven SEC stud coming back. I mean, we can look at the rankings. We can look at all this stuff. We can look at guys doing it non-conference competition stuff. You do have to do it in SEC, though. Let's make no bones about that. But I know they're looking at that and, the lack of, I guess you could say lack of proven guys around the board. But, I mean, we've seen, you've got to look at from these jumps these guys make from one year to the next. It's not going to change under Josh Elander. It's not going to change there. Josh Elander is still the hitting coach. He's still the catching coach. He's still going to be the third base coach in games. Frank Anderson has developed pitchers. Let's make no mistake about it. That's going to be how does Josh Reynolds develop compared to Frank Anderson. Let's make no mistake about it. We've seen the development there as well. Will things – to me, I'm curious about defense because I've thought the defense, especially like last year, lacked a lot to be desired. How will things change here? I mean, you still got Ross Kivett, who is the infield coach on that. Will things change with alignment? Will they shift more? Will they shift less? Curious to see. You got to think, though, there's not going to be just a drastic difference in how things are done. Yes, Josh Elander is going to want to put his own stamp on it. He's going to want to do things his way. But, again, he's been there with Vitello from the get-go. He's pretty much been Vitello's right-hand guy, he and Frank Anderson. So I just don't see a big change in that. And but I think that looking at these rankings, I think they're perfect because this team knows they're getting overlooked. They know they're not getting the respect because Tony Vitello and Frank Anderson left. That's exactly – it boils down to that most of all. And, again, I do get it. There's the lack of proven guys in conference, but you can probably look around every team, though, and see the same. All of them are going to have transfers coming in who are going to contribute. All of them are going to have young guys who take that next step this year as well. Tennessee, they had a stud freshman class last year. They've got one this year as well. But what kind of jump do last year's freshmen take to this year when they're sophomores? And you got some of these guys who are draft eligible, so they're out to prove it this year as well. I'm going to talk more about my predictions on lineup. I think I'm going to bring that tomorrow on it. I've talked about it already on these videos. I don't know that things really change, but I'm still fascinated to see how it plays out, especially in the middle infield. I think that the outfield's set. I think your corner infield is set. I think your catcher is set, possibly even your DH. How does that middle shake out? It's going to be interesting. And I mean, I think right now it's Coons, Mack, Blanco. Coons or Mack Friday, Saturday, Blanco Sunday. And Brandon Arvison's going to play a big role in this year as well. But talk more about that as we go. I'm going to put up at the end here, put up some of my preview videos. Check that out if you have not already. But this is Frank. This is the House of Orange. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you when I see you.